Good afternoon. My name is Stephen C. Maxwell. I'm a writing candidate for governor of Tennessee. Please vote for me 11/3/2026, where it says write in. Just write my name, Stephen, Stephen, C as in Courtney, and then Maxwell, Maxwell. Today, I'd like to speak with you that a whole lot of ministers are being arrested nowadays on bogus charges or bogus things that police like to make up. Today, I'd like to tell you, as governor, that will not happen in the state of Tennessee because the ministers are out there for the community. They're out there to help the individual. When you're threatening their family and you're threatening their church, they have more than a right to beat you down. I promise you, I believe that. I believe that. No clergyman, no veteran ought to ever be placed in handcuffs 1 second. 1, they served our country. 2, they care for the souls of man. They ought to be sovereign immune in this state. For those that are not aware of it, a minister in the state of Louisiana has been arrested, booked, and charged, and probably will be tried for beating down a man that has harassed this pastor for years and threatened his wife and threatened his children. The news only told one side of the story. That's why they're fake news. That's why they're liars, they're cheaters, they're thieves, and they don't belong on TV. And it's, in my opinion, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox News, and all these others that like to run their fat mouth about what they do not know about and where they do not have the full truth need to be cut off for 6 months. Every last TV show, every last news broadcast, except for emergency and all the other public trust stuff, they just need blacked out for 6 months. No job means no check. And I promise you, I'd make it happen. I promise you I would. I promise you I would sue to make it happen. And it will happen. See, what is going to happen is the press is going to come up against me because I will not allow them in the State House, and I don't want to talk to them in the White House because they lie. They do not give the full truth. They do not give both sides of the story. If people in jobs and in companies and everything else are only hearing one side, that is the most litigation possible thing in the world because their friends or because their sons or because their nephews or because their nieces or their daughters, okay, all a big family game. That's all it is with news today. That's all it is with police officers a lot of time too, because their family here or their friends there, or they went to high school with this one, or they went to college with that one, or they once had a romance with this one and that and the other thing. Okay, a big-time mafia in these rinky-dinky towns is about time they be taken down. And that's exactly why I started running for governor of Tennessee. Because there's corrupt sheriffs, there's corrupt county mayors, and you're always the bad guy when you find it out. When you point it out, you're always the bad guy. When you look at what they're spending, you're always the bad guy. When you ask for financial records, you are always the bad guy. Why? Because someone is following the money and they don't like it, and they will not answer all your questions. They will not tell you who's who on those finances. They'll say, oh, be glad to answer your questions, and they don't answer them half the time. They threaten everybody else that runs against them in any party or in any election. But God help you when you try and find out why money is being spent. Okay, they say you are a troublemaker. They say you're a whistleblower. They say you don't need to be going to the state, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's tough because I'm going to be executive of the state. And I plan, if I find out this trash keeps going on, I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to recommend to the legislative branch they are completely cut off. Law enforcement, county mayors, county, city, and all. Just cut them off. Because they just zero. Write a big old zero because I have that power in the Constitution still as governor. I will put a big old zero by the county. I don't need senators. I don't need representatives coming up in my office yammering at the lips because of what I do. Okay? What I do because I know things are happening. A lot of people say, well, prove it. I lived in that county for 20 years. That's all the proof I ever need. I lived in that county for 20 years. Police officers harassing folks and questioning them without an attorney. Where's this one? Where's that one? Where's he? Where's she? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? No attorney present. No rights were read. Okay? They just put handcuffs on you, throw your fat butt and slam. Okay? Those kind of counties, they are going to come down. Those kind of governments, they are going to be brought down. I promise you. As governor of Tennessee, I promise you, the corrupt are about to eat their own words. I promise you. They are about to eat crow, and they're not going to like how it tastes. I don't care if they're related to this one or that one. I could care less. If they have money, whoop-de-doo. I've had plenty of people with money in my family. Whoopee! Okay? And I've told them exactly what they could do with it. Because that's how I feel. No one needs to be bought in office. No one needs to be bought with a badge. And there's already blood on the badge as it is. And as governor, I promise you, it's going to stop. Farmers are going to profit. Teachers, you are going to have your bonuses. You are going to get raises. And you are going to get classroom stipends. Okay? Clergy, you are going to be protected. And the minute police put their hands on you, the National Guard needs called out. And someone needs to look down M16A1s or 2s. And that goes for the veterans also. We are going to protect our heroes. We're going to get them off the streets too. And I promise you that today, ACA is going down. Tennessee 40 DI is coming up. You understand? Or Tennessee 40 DI Advantage is coming up. And that's where 30% of the individual's income for everybody in the house, add up all the income for everybody in the house, and 30% of it goes for Tennessee 40 DI Advantage. And all they'll be paying is $50 for a doctor visit, $50 urgent care, $50 for ER. No more, a limit capped at $5,000 on all hospital stays. Okay? And then when it comes to prescriptions, if Walmart can do $3 prescriptions, then all pharmacies can do $3 prescriptions. And I promise you, it don't just have to be generic. You can make a living. You do not have to make a killing off the backs of those who cannot afford it. I will not have Tennesseans and later on Americans. I will not have you having to choose between food and medicine. That is absolutely ridiculous. And it will not happen here in Tennessee. Real ID, state participation is being null and void. TSA, state participation is null and void. As governor, I do not believe in this trash. Okay? Real ID is a tracker. It's a tracker. Big brother wants to know where you're going every time you turn around on a plane. And it's getting ridiculous. Okay? Soon they're going to put that chip in your hand and track you. Okay? And you don't need that. Because there's beryllium in there and it'll destroy your body. Okie dokie? Here's something else. We've talked about TSA. We've talked about Real ID. The 9/11 Act and Homeland Security Act is coming down. Okay? Bredesen number 8, with all due respect, Governor Bredesen number 8 is being overridden. And I can do that as governor. I can override executive orders. Executive orders are not solid law. They are just executive orders. So we'll go back to the Department of Safety. Okay? And all the branches will be put out. Now, here's what I'd like to tell you. TBI will be a big super conglomerate. SOS, Secretary of State, will be a big super conglomerate. And the Department of Health and Human Services is going to be a big super conglomerate. VA is going to be left standing alone. And Religious Affairs and Faith Conscience is going to be a new department with a flag and a commissioner or secretary, and it's going to be left standing alone. And here's why. We have way too much money flying all over the place, and it's being wasted. Red tape is tied up around everybody and their brother. Folks don't know where to go here, where to go there, where to go here, where to go there, and it's getting absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. SNAP benefits can be explained here, and WIC benefits can't be explained there, and we have to wait on this one, we have to wait on this one. No. We are going to halt all of that trash. We're going to bring everything together. And we're going to have multiple deputy commissioners And people are going to be able to start getting answers. You understand? Start getting answers. HHS, with a whole lot of health and human services dealing there, like agriculture, education, all the human stuff, all the health stuff. And then TBI with the prisons, and military will be under TBI, okay? Although it's a self-organized deal, it'll be under TBI. Okay, it has to do with enforcement, law enforcement, enforcement of rules and regulations. That's why it's going under TBI. All right, and SOS is going to have certain things for paperwork and rules and regulations. Okay, and then of course veteran and VA is going to have theirs, because our heroes need to be recognized. And then religious affairs, faith conscience is going to be mainly for pastors and the assemblies under those pastors, because they need to be free from government individuals butting in, sticking their big fat snozola where it does not belong. I appreciate you today and don't want to take any more of your time. My name is Stephen Courtney Maxwell. It'll be Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N-C, as in Courtney, Maxwell, as in the coffee, M-A-X-W-E-L-L. Would you write me in? November the 3rd, 2026. God bless. Bye-bye.